Adobe has done some stupid shit. If you guys don't know, right? Adobe is now wanting to access your, your stuff basically. So here, let's take a look real quick. Where's that? So I saw this video popped up recently, right, for the Adobe thing, and I have to say it's probably the most craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I want to take a look at it, to be honest. I kind of want to see what the whole, apparently they want access
Hello
to your
guys and
shit.
gals, me Mutahar, and it almost feels like the entire world of corporate America and big tech is trying to speedrun its way into absolutely pissing off its entire customer base. Now, if you're somebody that
It's funny because they pissed off their customers by doing the subscription thing. And then now I think what I've been hearing or so is that they want access to your projects or something like that.
produces content on the internet like me, or you're somebody that likes to dabble in creating, videos, maybe like to Photoshop things, you probably know of a company known as Adobe, okay? It's been around for a long time. In fact, you don't have to be a content creator to use it. Are you sitting in a hospital or something and probably looking through PDFs? You might be the boomer that's still running Adobe Acrobat, okay? Or your organization might still be using Adobe products.
Yeah.
Now, Adobe released this little ping on most people's creative clouds that pretty much scared people immediately when they saw it. Updated terms of use. We made some changes to Adobe's general TOS regarding the use of software. Clarified that we may access your content through both automated and manual methods, such as for content review.
What the fuck?
No! Ladies and gentlemen, immediately upon reading that, people started to wonder, whoa, how do I quickly cancel my subscription? I don't want this company looking through my stuff. That's weird. Now, if you don't know, Adobe's been kind of pushing this AI craze lately, and I'm just gonna say it like it is. I think artificial intelligence and user privacy are like two things that can never meet, okay? As long as these big companies keep pushing into making artificial intelligence a thing, they're going to need training data, okay? Meaning data that they use to basically train these AIs into producing the weird gobbledygook, the photos, the videos, the music that they end up producing.
Yeah.
That training data, people are fearing, is actually coming from their own projects, okay? Their own products. So obviously that's a big no-no, and it might even be illegal depending on where you live. But honestly, for big companies, it's about making $5 billion and then paying a $5 million fine sometime in 2033 and hand washing all of your sins away. That's just unfortunately how things work. Now, Adobe's kind of been running the entire PR.
That's probably why it gives the reason why some people just pirate Adobe software just because of this stupid issue, to be honest. It's just like basically just like how not to run a business. or like how to piss off your entire audience in a very easy and fashion manner. You can just learn it from Adobe, you know?
Campaign for the last 2 days, trying to make sure that people understand, whoa, hold on there, buddies. This isn't, we're not trying to be those assholes stealing your stuff. So they talk about, we recently made an update to our terms of service with a goal of providing more clarity on a few specific areas and pushed a routine reacceptance of those terms to Adobe Creative Cloud and document customers. So what's different? The focus on this update was to be clear about the improvements to our moderation processes that we've given in place, given the explosion of generative AI and our commitment to responsible innovation, okay? They've also added human moderation to the content submissions review processes. So they give an idea of what exactly was updated in this situation. So they bring up section 2 and section 4. We're going to read this a little closer ourselves. To be clear, Adobe requires a limited license to access content solely for the purpose of operating or improving these services and software, and to enforce our terms to comply with the law, such as to protect against abusive content. So, okay, the abusive content part makes a little bit of sense. Anytime you go to a cloud service provider and you upload content like photos, they will periodically check hashes on files to make sure things don't match up with known CSAM hash files. Okay, we've talked about this extensively before on my channel, but that's kind of what they're going with. Adobe does this, Google does this, Apple will do this, tons of cloud providers will do this. And I necessarily don't have an issue with them making sure that CSAM content doesn't exist on their servers. But that is totally different from the first fucking sentence that we are talking about here, which we'll delve into. So they say that access is needed for Adobe applications and services to perform the functions they are designed and used for, such as opening and editing files for the user or creating thumbnails or a preview for sharing.
What?
Oh yeah, is that it?
Really?
You know, that's such a broad sentence that legally you could probably use it to improve other parts of your software, like generative AI, okay? It kind of feels vague enough for it, doesn't it? Adobe Access is needed to deliver some of our most innovative cloud-based features, such as Photoshop, neural filters, liquid mode, or remove background. You can read more, including how users can control how their content may be accessed. For content processed or stored on Adobe servers, Adobe may use technologies and other processes, including escalation for human review, so when they're checking for that CSAM behavior. Now, they do say that nothing in their generative AI model is trained on consumer content, which is basically, we have to take their fucking word for it. You can read their FAQ when they actually talk about where this content is coming from. So they actually say the content comes from a data set of licensed content, such as Adobe stock, and public domain content. And they're gonna find new avenues for, I guess, ethically sourced training data. So where I want to look into is the fucking legal board for this, okay? Because I really do not trust any of these companies. This is adobe.com/legal/terms.html. And again, I'm going to refresh the page just so people know that I'm not bullshitting around and that this is not, you know, this is literally not edited, okay, in any capacity. So this is published February 17th, effective as of February 17th, 2024.
Okay.
So the version of what people are kind of freaked out about is right here, 4.
Content.
So 4.2, which is licenses to your content, okay? So right here they write, solely for the purposes of operating or improving the services and software. And again, that can be so vague, okay? What do you mean improving the services and software? Your software is implementing AI across the board. Photoshop, After Effects, shit like Premiere Pro. Anything that you say improves the software. It could be anything. That is such a vague term. It could literally, I mean, if you use my IP to market your product, to improve your services and software, I don't know. The vagueness is a thing people are calling out. And there are legal firms that sit down and wonder, maybe we need to reconsider our, relation with Adobe. If they don't have some VIP clause or like an enterprise level situation already. You grant us a non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free sublicense, license to use, reproduce, publicly display, distribute, modify, create derivative works based on, publicly perform, and translate the content. Okay, so you're granting them all of that. Okay?
Damn.
All of that stuff when you deal with your content. And remember, content means any text, information, communication, such as audio files, video files, electronic documents. So imagine uploading like an NDA written document, okay, and it gets scanned by their cloud service, okay? Are you not violating an NDA by possibly doing that in some way? It's such a confusing minefield. Or images that you upload, import to, embed, or embed for use by or create using the services and software. We reserve the right to remove content or restrict access to content, services, and software if any of your content is found to be in violation of the terms. And I think that has more to do with illegal CSAM material. But this is what they mean by any content. They have basically covered anything that you're uploading. So right here, going back to 4.2, in specific, right, where they may, for example, we may sublicense our right to the content to our service providers or to other users to allow the service and software to operate as intended, such as enabling you to share photos with others. Separately, section 4.6 below covers any feedback that you provide to us. So what's interesting about this is it already feels vague, right? Like we talked about this first sentence where your content solely for the purposes of operating or improving their software.
Well, shit, I might as well. Well, chat. I might as well start pirating Adobe software. Well, I might as well. Well, I might as well just start doing it now. Now these days, oh man, Adobe sure is something. I remember using Adobe a long time ago, but that was when you like buy it or so, right? When you buy it one time and then it's yours forever, right? And then, well, the subscription thing came out, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm okay, I'm fine. So, and well, you know,
And services. Could that not include your AI services? Could that not include your generative stuff? Okay, that is so vague that
because I used to use Photoshop like a long time ago. I don't use it. I don't really use it as much now. But there is like another alternative program or so that is kind of like similar to Photoshop, which I might be buying it because there are some things that are actually pretty useful on that program. That almost has like the same like almost 1-to-1 ratio or so with Adobe Photoshop.
even if you were to
Need to
take these
remember
people
what
to
program
court,
it is again.
this might give Adobe enough legal water to stand tall and say, we literally are just using this stuff to improve our software and services. And again, when they talk about things like, for example, sub-licensing the right to the content for the service providers or to other users to allow the services and software to operate as intended, such as then allowing you to share it with other people, it's like they used the most harmless example for the most vague clauses imaginable. And that's literally the only thing that people have been having a serious issue with, okay? 2 days ago, this started popping up. People got a little pop-up. They started to see this. And for Adobe, they've talked about this situation not being that new, okay? So when this user on the internet, Sasha Yanshin, called this out, for instance, this exact section, one of the users, the strategy product design author at Adobe, talked about every cloud service requires a license solely for the purpose of operating. That's been over there for a decade, but our summary language didn't clarify. So they posted that clarification, which we read. And again, this person says, I give zero shits about the Adobe clarifications or blog posts. You force people to sign new terms. Legally, they are the only thing that actually matter. And that's true. Blogs don't matter. Your legal print is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
It's always signed with. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So then they say, hey, listen, for the sole purpose of operating license that every cloud company requires to function, host, and modify content for certain features has been there for 11 years. But like, what's interesting about this is this guy, they've never written anywhere in this legal text that, okay, for all these services, your content is going to be used to improve the services and software, but nowhere is it going to be prevented from being used in their generative AI. You might be like, well, Muda, what if this is just for people who are operating within the, Creative Cloud, their online hosting service? So for anybody that doesn't know, when you purchase a subscription to Adobe software, you get access to like 100 gigabytes of online storage space.
Okay.
And this is the thing. If you ask me personally, I think if you expect privacy from an online storage provider, never expect that. Even though I think personally, if you're paying for storage, you should be allowed to store what you want with a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Yeah.
I kind of compare this to like public storage places where you rent a place out in the real world, you drop shit in there, and provided it's not readily apparent that that place is being used for illegal purposes like operating a meth lab or something like that.
Yeah.
You should be under reasonable understanding that nobody is going to open up your door out of nowhere and just look through your stuff.
Yeah.
If people figured that was going to be happening at a big storage facility, I would probably wager that 99% of the people renting there probably would choose to cancel their fucking subscriptions if they found out that is what could possibly happen. And that's what you're legally giving them allowance to. And that's one of the things that goes into my head. It's one of the reasons why, even for me right here, we have our own actual personal cloud storage. So I have a server in the basement that we just upload stuff to, and you can access it from anywhere in the world. When I got to send anybody a file, I just upload it to a server in the basement. I give them a little, share link. They download it to their computer and call it a day. But honestly, I feel like that's just, not many people are going to be doing that or have the understanding to set up their own cloud providers. But yeah, this is one of the things where
that would be interesting, actually. That would be pretty cool. I don't know how that works or so, right? To set up your own like cloud storage thing. That would be pretty cool to have one, actually. But I don't think I have the components or so to even make one, so.
It's like if you're paying for anything, and Adobe Sign. It's not like they're giving you this stuff for free. So then to add extra stuff onto this legal text is just an insult to injury. And it's got people really actually discussing this situation. Look, Adobe has competition, okay? They do. You know, at this moment in time, reading through some of the stuff and realizing how much we pay for Adobe, I might as well just start fucking learning DaVinci Resolve properly and just completely cut the cord at this point, okay? Because here's the thing about a company like Adobe. It's one of those things, it's like the Microsoft like recall stuff. One company gets way too big and they pretty much dominate the market share, and then they think they can get away with basically anything, okay? Especially when they dabble into fields like artificial.
It's the same thing with Call of Duty or so, which is like one of the biggest FPS games now, right? They used to be in competition with Battlefield, and I think there was another one, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, Medal of Honor. I think it was back then. Back then in the old in ye old times, right? Medal of Honor was one of the games, and then Battlefield was the other one, and then Call of Duty. Like those were kind of like, you know, the big ones. You know, I'm just talking about like the not Halo, because that was its own thing, right? These ones specifically were basically we're on all platforms basically, you know. And of course, you know, after a while, the only one that's still standing, right? Like Battlefield is still there, but it's not as popular as it used to be, right? Call of Duty is definitely still the more dominant game. Yes, Adobe is an evil company. Yeah, because they've changed their terms of service or so, where they can have full access to your, basically to your stuff. That's about it. That's why we crack their software. Yeah, it's funny. You know, at this point, might as well just start cracking their software at this point, just because whatever they're doing. I know there's another there is another software that is just like Photoshop, but it's like way better. Well, not like super better, but it's basically on the same level as
artificial
Adobe.
intelligence.
But they don't charge you
days where you can
subscription.
just buy an actual like revision of a software and not have to worry about having a financial tie to a company, right? You used to be able to buy.
I forgot the name though. That's why.
You know, you could buy Premiere like CS5, CS6, and then they turned it into a subscription model, right? Which basically you end up paying the same price roughly anyways, but you just never own the software, okay?
Yeah.
And they keep touting you with, yes, you get access to a consistent rolling release of software and updates and cool stuff behind the scenes. But for most people who aren't really dabbling with the most experimental tech, they probably would be better if they could just buy a license and call it a day.
Yeah.
But at this moment in time, if you're still using Adobe after reading shit like this, it might be time for you to start canceling your subscriptions. I know that we are, and we're probably just going to switch to something that is a little less insulting to the intelligence of the average individual.
Might as well.
Using their software.
Point,
that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and
might as well. I think the other software program, right? Let's see, what was it called? It was, let me see, what was the name of that goddamn fucking program? Oh yeah, here it is. This one, Affinity Photo. Affinity Photo is basically almost the same level as it's almost the same level as Photoshop. You only buy it once, and it kind of has almost like the same. Yeah, it has no subscription. Oh, I guess it's 50% off. Oh fuck, I want to buy it so badly. Yeah, it's pretty cheap or so. You know, I definitely want to pick it up and try it out for a drawing and see how it feels, right? So there's a lot of, you know, Photoshop-esque things and lighting and stuff. They have this too as well. I want to try it out for drawing to see how it feels, you know. So yeah, like I said, this would be very interesting for me to check out in the future, because I use Clip Studio, right? I used to use Photoshop a long time ago, but you know, the whole subscription-based thing kind of like completely destroyed it. But yeah, they also have this one too as well, the universal license or so, which is $82.99, one-off payment. You get access to Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and then you get Affinity Publisher. So yeah, Affinity. You can just call, I think, of yeah, just Affinity itself, Affinity Photo. and it's just one, you buy it one time and that's it. It's 50% off. So if you just want to buy just the program itself, I think it's just something like $30 or something like that. $34.99, $35 if you're a Windows user. If you're an iPad user, it's $10. So yeah, yeah, like I said, I'd probably would be switching over. Now the only thing that they need to do, right? The only thing that they need to do, is if they can get a software for video editing, man, they're just gonna kill Adobe real fast. They'll be really good competition for them. The best part about it, specifically from what I'm seeing, right? So if you have the upgraded version for number 1, right? Upgrade to version 2 upgrade offer, right? 25% off for the annual universal license plus $242 worth of free content. So they give you, so if they give out like if they do like a new version of it, right? Like a new overhaul version of it, right? They'll also give you like, like a discount. They'll like show you here, right here specifically, like a discount or so, to upgrade into the new one. So like the version number 2. If you have version number 1, they'll give you like a significant discount or so for version number 2. So I think that's what they're gonna do too as well when they make, if they ever make version number 3, or if they'll ever improve, or if they'll just make version number 2 just overall just better, then yeah, like I said, for those who already have it, right? For those who already have it specifically, but for version 2, it's only $35. I've seen a lot of videos on Affinity, right? On Affinity specifically, and it's basically almost the same UI as Photoshop, and it's almost basically at the same level as Photoshop. So yeah, I might probably use it for drawings or so I can bring it over and do some like small touch-ups here and there, right, with it. So the stream is fine on my end. There's nothing wrong on my end, so. But yeah, overall that's pretty much it. So anyways, what do you guys think about Adobe? Well, we already know kind of Adobe has already been like a bad kind of overall a bad thing,
Hello, guys.
Stream is buffering for you guys? Really? I don't even see anything wrong with me with on this side. So, but yeah, overall, I think they should definitely have another competition. Hopefully Affinity is the one that kind of like knocks them down a peg or two, and hopefully, but we'll see what happens, to be honest, at the end of the day. But anyways, take care, peace.